Hello and welcome to the last Friday in the month of August, year 2024. This is Amorgate Radio Communications. The program is called Issues in Economic Development, and I remain your host, Titilola Ogushono. We wrapped up last episode mentioning the top 6 countries around the globe with the best curriculum. We'll have a recap of the top 6 countries around the globe with the best curriculum, especially for the benefit of those who couldn't join us last week. Okay, at number 6, we mentioned that at number 6 we have the United States of America. And we said there were some unique features about the curriculum of the USA, that it is really diverse and flexible. The focus of the curriculum is around creativity and innovation, and also that the curriculum is embedded and capped in such a way that students are equipped with very high level of critical and analytical skills. That is the USA at number 6, the 6th top country around the globe with the best curriculum in terms of robustness and deliberate skill set that students are equipped with. Okay, so let's at number 5. At number 5, we have Japan. And as they said, through empirical evidences that Japan has the best primary education. And Japan's curriculum too is also very high in terms of developing values and ethics. And this is very evident. Like I mentioned last week, we have, Japanese employees spending 2 decades, 3 decades in a particular company. Their level of loyalty, dedication to work is unparalleled, is very strong, and they are developing values and ethics in their students from tender ages. It shows up at the end of the day because always they have unparalleled level of discipline and dedication to work, and that is Japan for us at number 5. That's the 5th top country with the best curriculum. Okay, so we mentioned at number 4 that we have Germany. The curriculum of Germany is also one curriculum that is worthy to be, to be investigated, to be studied, where developing countries can actually learn from. The curriculum of Germany is so heavy on technical education, and when it comes to technology, engineering, discipline, definitely Germany is the point of call for anyone. And of course, such curriculum is highly embedded, has high level of practical and technical skills. That is Germany at number 4. Okay, so let's look at the top 3. We mentioned Canada at number 3. And Canada is well known for its diversity and flexibility in meeting students' needs. Another distinct feature of the curriculum in Canada is that it, that the students are being equipped with collaborative skills. And I've said in a previous episode that even the world has moved, the business world has moved from the place of fierce or unhealthy competition to collaboration. So when you are deliberate about equipping students with collaborative skills, definitely you are raising future entrepreneurs, you are raising students that can compete in the global market more easily. Okay, and another unique feature of the curriculum of Canada is that they help students to develop social and personal skills, and these are skill sets that will translate into behavioral competencies that will make them competitive in the global market space. That is Canada at number 3. And also at number 2, we mentioned Finland. Okay, and Finland's curriculum is aimed at promoting innovation, critical thinking, and also self-learning skills. And I recall that I mentioned that, in fact, the process of self-discovery is even the foundation of success actualization or success attainment. I will take it again that the process of self-discovery, discovering yourself, discovering what makes you think, discovering your learning style is the foundation, is the bedrock of success attainment. How do you want to attain success? How do you want to be great when you do not even understand yourself? So I like the approach of self-learning skills, because a student who understands his reading pattern, a student who has discovered his or herself will know where his or her strengths are, will know the weaknesses. At that point when you're understanding yourself, you're already knowing what your strengths would be, and you'll be able to leverage on those strengths, of yours, to be able to translate into opportunities for you. And the same self-learning style will make you understand yourself, so you know where your weaknesses are, and you do all you can to mitigate those weaknesses, if you cannot eradicate them totally, to manage them so that they don't become threats to your success. So I like this component of self-learning skills, because it helps students to discover themselves, which self-discovery, like I said, is the foundation bedrock of success attainment. So which country is at number 1? For those just joining us on today's episode that were not there last week, that's why I had to do a recap of the top 6 countries in the world with the best curriculum. Now at number 1 is no other than Singapore. What makes Singapore curriculum unique? What makes it robust? What makes it stand out from others? We get in the space at number 1. We'll look at it shortly. Yeah, we mentioned that Singapore, when it comes to advanced mathematics, Singapore is there. And once you have that, the foundation of your linear programming, the foundation of even your machine learning, Singapore is at it. And Singapore's curriculum is tailored towards developing critical thinking skills and also creativity. And this is evident in terms of outcomes that they have achieved, because Singapore has achieved excellent results in PISA, and I recall that I mentioned that PISA is an acronym for Program for International Student Assessment. Well, PISA was created, for those hearing PISA, PISA, for the first time. It was created by OECD, and the essence of the PISA, this assessment, is to measure the ability of 15-year-olds, the ability to use their reading, mathematics, and science knowledge and skills to meet real life experiences. And we talked about countries that ranked the top 10 and countries that ranked lowest, and we also said we have countries that not even participated at all, like Nigeria. That is the top 6 countries with the best curriculum, and I've mentioned that distinct futures as a recap of what we did, what I wrapped up with last episode. But on today's episode, we are going to be looking at another set of empirical evidences. Now, if we look at the 6 countries I have mentioned, one similarity among all of the 6 countries is that they are developed countries. Now, I could ask this question to say that, are you saying that we don't have countries in other continents, even among developing countries, with very robust and skills-driven curriculum? Of course, yes, we have. What I'm going to do, go further on today's episode that we are starting with, is to take empirical evidences of countries in Africa. We have countries too in Africa with very robust curriculum. And remember that the reason why we talked about this curriculum, we said that one of the factors that will lead to an increase in level of unemployment in a particular nation is when we have defective educational system, or what we also term as outdated school curriculum. So that's why we started looking at this issue of looking at curriculums around the globe. Because if we do not look at this, it's going to lead to what we talk about structural unemployment. So we are going to be looking at the top 10 countries in Africa with the best curriculum. At number 10, we have Namibia, and it's also considered the curriculum of Namibia is the 100 best in the world, but however is the 10th best in Africa. And again, there's a score, a weighted average attached to, the level of critical thinking and teaching. And Namibia scored 88.2% in terms of critical thinking and teaching. That is Namibia as number 10, the 10th best country with the best curriculum in Africa. It's important that we take these statistics for us to see what these countries are doing in terms of curriculum, making it robust, making it practical, where their students can actually get those critical skill sets, thinking, analytical skills, which is foundational for entrepreneurship in any nation. And that would even affect the level of investment expansion in a country, and definitely affect the level of economic growth. It will reduce the level of poverty in the country. So that's why I want to look at statistics around the globe to see what they are doing so well. I've told you that I told you last episode that we're looking at empirical evidences last episode and this episode, and that's what we are doing right now. Okay, so at number 9 in Africa, the 9th position in terms of the robustness of the curriculum is Egypt. We have Egypt at number 9. Okay, and Egypt is also the 99th best in the world. And some things are important to note about Egypt in terms of the literacy rate. It has 71%, and that is high. In fact, according to UNESCO, Egypt is the 70th best country in the world in terms of digital skills. That is high. Okay, in terms of digital skills, and definitely we talk about the skills that are relevant in the 21st century. We talk about that my colleague Mr. Adeola Gbadebo keeps hammering on those skills are non-negotiable. Okay, it doesn't matter what your discipline is, what your first degree is. It could be geology, it could be marketing, it could be linguistics, it could be English, it could be peace studies. No matter the course you have studied as an undergraduate, once you graduate, some skill sets are non-negotiable. So, and that includes digital skills, because IT has taken over. AI is evolving every space right now, so it's non-negotiable. And Egypt, an African country, has been ranked according to UNESCO as the 70th best country in the world in terms of digital skills. In fact, one other thing that also helped them, though is also contestable, debatable, to look at how it applies to other countries, but has helped Egypt a lot, is their policy on free education. From the age of 6 to 15, education is free. So that could have been responsible. We need to investigate further the relationship between this free education system and the digital skills set that they have in Egypt. But this is interesting to note that we have Egypt at number 9. At number 8, we have Cape Verde. Now, some things are also unique about this country is that government also runs, free education system for citizens who have attained the age of 12. However, mandatory education for children aged 6 to 12. And also in terms of global education ranking, in terms of education globally, Cape Verde is not doing so bad too, at 98th position in terms of education globally. And I looked at a lot of empirical evidences, but these ones that I was able to get, I'm talking about right now, was already gotten from this day. There was a report from this day last year, and I found it very robust and very relatable. Okay, and that is Cape Verde at the 8th position. And number 7 is a country that is considered the pride of East Africa. So I'm measuring the 7th best, country with the best, curriculum in Africa. At number 7, this is a country that has been considered to be the pride of East Africa. Okay, you can debate it if you want. Okay, but at number 7 is Kenya. In Kenya, we have is about the 95th best in the global education system globally. The literacy rate in Kenya is even higher, than others. Is 78.7% literacy rate. So we have less than 22% of its citizens not being illiterate, and that is high. Literacy rate is very high in Kenya, okay, and even digital skills, okay, is also very high. And also when you talk about finding skills employees, the ratio is also very high in Kenya. And two things stands out for Kenya, and I think that's also helped them, is that education is compulsory from age 6 to 17. So once you are within that age bracket, education is compulsory, is mandatory, it is not optional. And we keep saying that a nation will not develop beyond the capacities of its people. So this, I think, has played out well for Kenya, and it's evident by it occupying the 7th position. And another thing you would also see is that the budgetary allocation to education is high. In Kenya, the budgetary allocation to education sector is 17.58%. Okay, 17.58% of its budget is allocated to education. So you see that from Kenya's case, so it's a case of direct and positive relationship between your budgetary allocation to education, and also in terms of output, in terms of quality of your students, in terms of quality of our workforce. There is a direct and positive relationship to this, and that is the pride of East Africa, Kenya, at number 7. If you're just joining us, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. What we are discussing right now is looking at the best 10 countries in Africa with the best curriculum, and we have mentioned 4 countries. We have mentioned Namibia at number 10, Egypt 9th position, Cape Verde 8th position, and of course the pride of East Africa, Kenya, at the 7th position. So we'll move on from here. Okay, so let's look at the 6th best country in Africa with the best curriculum, and that is no other than Botswana. Botswana is ranked at the 92nd best in terms of global education system. On the global scale is 92nd, and is also ranked as the 76th best in Africa in terms of school life expectancy. And also when it comes to ranking of the quality of teachers training globally, the position is 678 in terms of that. And also when it comes to literacy rate, interesting, in Botswana is 88%. Yes, I know that for some developed nations like like Luxembourg, we have close to about almost 100% literacy rate. For a country in Africa, Botswana is not doing badly at 88% literacy rate. At number 5 is Algeria. Algeria occupies the 5th best position in Africa. The literacy rate in Algeria is about 75% literacy rate at 57.4 points. Okay, and also Algeria, interestingly, stands as the 2nd best education system in North Africa. So is number 2 in North Africa in terms of having the best education system, and also is the 65th best African country in school life expectancy. That is global ranking globally. That is their position globally, 65th position. Now, one thing that also worked again for Algeria is that the government runs free education systems for its citizens only they are up to 16 years of age. Okay, you can see. So I look at it, empirical evidence, the evidences that we have seen when it's free education between a particular age, 9 to 16, you can see that reflecting in the value of literacy rate. You see it in the rate of that literacy rate, 75% literacy rate in Algeria. Still considering the top 10 countries in Africa with best education system, at number 4 is South Africa. Well, it can be recalled that the education system in South Africa has undergone a lot of development, via investment. There has been a lot of investment in the education system sector in South Africa. Why countries like Kenya have devoted 17.58% of their budget to educational sector, we have South Africa also devoting about 18% of the country's budget to education. And the two main objectives was first to improve the standard of education in the country, and the overall objective was to make it globally competitive. Now let's look at if this decision to spend, to invest in the educational sector, has it really paid off? Yes. The first is South Africa occupying the fourth position, but let's look at the parameters. What are the metrics for choosing them, in terms of ranking as the first best in Africa? The literacy rate in South Africa is 94%. Literacy rate in South Africa is 94%. And again, South Africa is the fourth in Africa in terms of educational development with a 58.4 points, and globally at the international stage it holds 84th position. That is South Africa at number 4. I'm sure we should study the educational reforms that has been done, that South Africa has undergone, because there are lessons to be learned from this strategic investment, these strategic reforms, so that other developing nations can learn from it. And I'll find there'll be another episode dedicated to looking at the way out. How do we help other countries? What policy reform helped South Africa? We'll study these more intensely. Okay, that's South Africa at number 4. Remember, we're looking at the best curriculum educational system because we have said that one of the main drivers of unemployment rate in a nation is outdated curriculum and defective educational system. So if we look at those that have gotten it right, we are looking at what they have done, and part of the things that you have seen is their investment, deliberate investment in education, in policies like free education, making education compulsory for their students, for their citizens, and this has helped. It's not just a question of developed nations or those in other continents. We are bringing it back to the African continent. Okay, and that is South Africa at number 4. Okay, so let's at the top 3. At number 3 is Mauritius. In Mauritius, education is compulsory for its citizens until the child reaches the age of 16, and it's expected that he or she would have completed the secondary school. Okay, at that stage. Well, Mauritius ranking globally is the 74th position. And again, one unique thing I like about Mauritius that I've seen with the system is in terms of vocational training. Mauritius has been rated worldwide, at the 47th position in vocational training due to the high level of qualitative programs that they churn up. Okay, so in terms of not just the regular school system now, even in terms of vocational training, and that will translate to skill set. Okay, that is another unique feature of the educational system in Mauritius, and that is Mauritius occupying the 3rd position. So if we have Mauritius number 3, then which countries occupy number 2 and number 1? So let's move on to the second best country in Africa with the best education system you can find. So at number 2 we have Tunisia. Okay, also just like Mauritius too, education is accessible and compulsory to all citizens until the child completes secondary school. Okay, and in terms of investment, deliberate investment in the educational sector would also give a big applause to the government of Tunisia, because the government invested 20% of its national budget to this sector. 20% of its national budget to this sector. Okay, and let's see as that helped them. Yes, in Africa is the second top country with the best educational system. Now, what else have they achieved? Is the 49th in terms of school life expectancy. Okay, and even in terms of primary education, looking at the pupil to teacher ratio measured by that, it occupies the 51st position. And again, globally, you also have Tunisia there occupying 74th position globally. That is Tunisia. So it means that if you look at it, there's a direct relationship, possible relationship with the amount, the budgetary allocation to education, deliberate investment in education, and literacy rate global ranking. Okay, that's Tunisia at number 2. So So, which African country occupies the fourth position? And that is no other than Seychelles. Okay, it's located at the East Africa. Seychelles is at number 1. Okay, and it's interesting to note that this is the only African country in the top 50 education systems in the world. Now, you see a lot of African countries, like Tunisia, occupying 71st position. We have other countries occupying 80 something position, but in terms of the first 50 globally, Seychelles is the only African country occupying the first 50, falling within that range. And it's interesting to note that in terms of ranking, there are ahead of countries like Ukraine, Hungary, Russia, and even the United Arab Emirates, UAE, ahead of them. And what is their position globally? When I saw this, I was almost surprised myself. They ranked 28th position globally, and that curriculum is known for deep critical thinking. In fact, in terms of teaching too, it's very robust, just like Namibia that I mentioned. And in terms of graduate skill set, they rank 34th position. So that is Seychelles at number 1. What all the policy reforms that have been done is worth studying, because is a country located on the continent of Africa, and this is the same country where we still have the 19 out of the 20 poorest nation from the continent. So some are actually getting it right, and it shows that we can actually get it right in other countries too, on this continent, not still falling behind. And it's also important to note that Seychelles is the first African country to accomplish UNESCO's education for all aims fully. It still remains the first African country to accomplish UNESCO's education for all aims fully. I don't want to mention other African countries that we expect to take the lead, the giant of Africa, but we have Seychelles actually taking that lead in this regard. We have considered the top 10 countries in Africa with the best education system. I know some people have been asking, thinking, oh, we didn't have Nigeria. Why not Nigeria? Why is Nigeria not there? Okay, Nigeria did not. I spoke about the top 10. Okay, but interestingly, though, Nigeria has the fourth largest GDP in terms of nominal terms, GDP nominal value. Okay, the fourth largest, but in terms of education systems in this ranking, Nigeria came 11th position, and Nigeria was rated at 124th best country according to Global Education System, 124th and the 11th best in Africa. Okay, that's for those thinking, oh, why not Nigeria? Nigeria was not mentioned. But that is it. That's Nigeria's 11th position in Africa and 124th best country according to Global Economic Education System. Wow, I wish I could go on, but I have to draw the curtain here on today's episode. I hope that you have been able to learn one or two things, because I promise that's going to be bringing empirical evidences. There's going to be an expository session. I hope you find it expository and enlightening as well. Remember, at Amogate, we take care of your consulting needs, your communications needs, your strategic needs. You are just a call away. If you want to learn more about us, kindly check us up on our website, www.theamorgate.org. I'll take it again. The website is www.theamorgate.org. And definitely our social media handles are there to check out what we do. The Facebook is Amorgate, Instagram Amorgate, LinkedIn is Amorgate as well. And remember, it's another time next week. We have programs that run from Mondays to Fridays. That different program, interesting, expository, enlightening episode from Monday through Friday with my other colleagues. Please join us at the same time, 5 p.m. WAT. But I will not leave without dropping this quote, which I like, from Evelyn Weber. And she says, there is no better investment a nation can make than education. It is an investment in economic development, an investment in opportunity, an investment in our shared future. Thank you. I hope that you join us next week, like I said. And of course, do wish you a beautiful, restful, and interesting weekend. Bye. This I remain Titilola Ogunshono.